What we're going to do today is talk about the content that we're launching today, which is through something we're calling the Mobile Playbook, which is the best practices or the how-to guide for how to think about mobile in 2012. We've organized this around 5 questions that were very consistent that we got from our customers over the last year. So first, maybe for you, Michelle, can you talk a little, we can't repeat it enough, that mobile changes this value proposition. It changes how you think about a Starwood customer. So if you don't mind talking to kick us off a little about how you've approached that question of the digitally connected consumer.
We initially started to cater to the mobile consumer with search, knowing that this is the most common category for travel, and then high-impact brand awareness units that were just really robust and took over the full screen. These rich media executions really cater to the way that users use smartphones with things like swipe and tilt and shake functionality. And with that, we revealed brand messaging, offers, we launched videos, and we even had social sharing functionality. From there, we really adapted our search strategy to mobile with the launch of click-to-call and location extensions. These 2 components were critical in addressing the needs of our mobile users, with having, of course, a clickable phone number that someone could then immediately book, and then an expanded map where someone could see directions to our hotels.
We have customers doing research because they're on the train and they're not ready to convert, but they at least want to know what they want to look at. It really does add this extra lens that we're now starting to pay a lot more of attention to, and it's been this way for about a year now, just to sort of go back a little bit. But it's definitely something that's changed sort of the facet of sort of all the digital campaigns that we structure, because mobile becomes a bigger part of it, and in many cases, sort of it's no longer the last minute. Hey, what are we doing with mobile? It's sort of like, here's how all the experiences will lay out, and mobile's always a part of those experiences.
One of the things that we're pointing people to, which is a lot of people consider the basics, but is building the right mobile property from which to engage. 1-800-Flowers was very early and is actually, I think, on the 3rd iteration, and I think has been as good as anyone, and we've recognized that, at really thinking about the needs of the on-the-go user. Can you talk a little about how you've approached the mobile website?
You know, a challenge that most organizations face is what to bring to mobile. So our position always has been bring the right things to mobile. You should not be bringing everything from desktop to mobile. You really need to study user data to understand what to bring to mobile. Second, and I think, you know, as with the release of the Mobile Playbook today, there's an incredible ecosystem of resources that any of these brands or people who are, you know, desirous of moving into this space can tap into. So it's, you know, the GoMo site that you guys have, and then, you know, bunch of association or even their brand peers, call them, ask them what they are doing, and you'll get an incredible you know, baseline resources to go out and build your mobile site.
It's clear that success starts at sort of how you think about this organizationally. And Josh, maybe I'd start with you. Can you talk about how Comcast has thought about integrating mobile with the broader range of things that you think about?
What I go back to is that old saying, you know, you build it, they will come. It turns out that we actually built nothing, and a tremendous amount of people showed up anyway. And so what we saw, really to the point of data, was that a lot of people were coming on mobile devices and trying to actually buy service, and we didn't have an experience for them, and they still tried to do it. So it sort of shut down the idea that this person only wants to call us or only wants to go onto a desktop and complete this order. So we took that data sort of as the starting point, and we coupled it with Google data that said, hey, you know, here's a bunch of searches for actually our phrases and really important words for us that also exist just in mobile. And so the question becomes, you know, what are we going to do with this? Because it became a real easy conversation, because it was about here's money being left on the table in terms of opportunity to really meet a consumer demand.
We have mobile as its own P&L, and it has its own budget. So that allows us to do a couple of things. One is have a laser focus on the ROI metrics associated with the channel, but I think even more importantly, it allows us to move very nimbly. So for example, Michelle was talking about click-to-call ads. I did not have to wait for the desktop team to come back with a budget. I was able to move the day it was announced. So those things add up to very specific organizational advantages, but I think also marketplaces advantages for any brand out there.
You know, OMD's been doing mobile for quite some time. We started Airwave about almost 2 years ago, and the purpose was to take clients deeper down that path into mobile and to really serve as these mobile practitioners that bring the experience to the space, the understanding that in certain cases it complements other mediums, but in other cases it is a standalone initiative. But even in the fashion of getting clients to understand where it complements other mediums, whether it be traditional, whether it be online, is that there are some things in mobile, even if it's display, that are slightly different. And they need to be handled by a group of people that it's really their own sole responsibility. So whether it's things like back-end metrics or allowing creative to be developed properly, that it really taps into the device functionality and creates this unique experience for consumers, it's really delivering that expertise and delivering that knowledge and helping those clients kind of create that roadmap.
Moving to the next question, which is about marketing, and we've hit on this. I heard some people talk about search and display and some other things. And so, again, Michelle, maybe starting with you, you've had a lot of success and are very specific about your ROI requirements of the medium. Can you talk a little about sort of both what you did and what did and didn't work for you?
What we saw right away was our mobile customers are inherently different. We have to treat them differently. 9 in 10 of our mobile travelers are taking an action within 24 hours, and 4 in 10 are taking an action immediately. And by action, I mean a reservation or a booking. So, and this is different than what we see on desktop. So, where we've seen success from an ROI perspective is really providing those solutions that provide a very seamless user experience, a very fast one, that really intersect our guests at the right place with the right message at the right time. We've done tactics like layering on third-party data so we can get our head around travel intent. We've done things like I mentioned earlier, the paid search with the location extension, so the map is present. We're trying things out like geofencing and hotspotting to again mirror where we think our best customers are, or people who are most likely to be our customers.
Mobile is opening up newer, I think, analytical ways of looking at the customer journey to any outcome that is desired by you. So for example, what we have seen is that actually some of our customers look at our images and go to the local florists that we have in the communities and tell them, hey, I want X, Y, and Z changed in this bouquet, can you do it? So it's not the traditional transactional outcomes that are being facilitated, but even newer forms of interaction that frankly is very exciting for us.
Is the tablet a desktop experience? Is a tablet a mobile experience? And I think where we've come out based on data on time of day usage and patterns that we see is that a tablet really is its own thing. What have you seen around tablets, and how is OMD thinking about tablets broadly?
When we look at behavior of tablet versus online, for instance, in just the one bucket of retail, we're seeing that there's better opportunities, if you will, for our clients in the tablet environment. But there's always going to be that, at least for the time being, that debate of, is the tablet, if it's a device that people are using at home, you don't see many people opening up a barcode scanning app on a tablet and trying to read something in Best Buy with it. It's a home device for the most part. That leads a lot of people to argue, well, how is it mobile in the true sense of mobility if the common usage is at home? But when you look at other behavior in terms of app usage, that would bucket it into a mobile device. So we do, for our clients, we do use it in our planning for all of their mobile exercises, really. We're using it more now that it's getting scale than we have in the past.
So with that, I want to remind everyone that this is just the tip of the iceberg of the type of conversation and content, which is why we built the Mobile Playbook, which you can find at themobileplaybook.com. Visit it on your tablet. It's content built for a tablet. And we want to hear your feedback. Hopefully it'll answer some of the questions and start new conversations. I'm grateful to these 4 folks for joining and sharing a little bit of what they've learned through their investment in mobile. And I actually like the idea, which I tripped over earlier, which is hopefully getting the group back together with the time-elapsed view as we have another year of this under our belts. But thank you very much for joining, and to everyone that tuned in.